All right, let's go out to Tampa, Florida, and talk to Ann. Hey, Ann, what's up?
Can you hear me? Hi, Dr. John.
I can hear you. What's up?
Not too much. How are you?
Good. What's up in your world?
Okay, so my question is, how do I support my husband while he grieves losing his job and navigating constant rejection while finding a new one, but still holding him accountable to getting a job and not making excuses for all the reasons why he can't do certain things?
Ooh, that's tough. Let's start at the back end of the question and work the other way.
Okay.
For you to say the words, I need to hold him accountable, tell me about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know where you're going, but I want to hear you say it.
Well, it just seems like he's trying to find work. I know he's trying, but he's maybe not trying as hard as I think he could, or maybe in the ways I think he should be. And it's always kind of like, well, I'm not going to apply for that one because, the hours are not great, or it doesn't work, or the pay isn't enough. And, it's always just kind of something. Or I had one, it was like, well, they want me to do this project, and I'm not going to do this project before I have a job. It's kind of like excuses, and then it narrows his applications, and so I'm kind of like, well, what you're doing isn't working, so let's try something else. But I also know he's really struggling, right? It's hard. It's been hard for him, and the more rejection, right, the harder it is. So
Yes.
I'm kind of trying to navigate, pushing him, but understanding that it's hard.
Oh, man. I've got some probably controversial thoughts on this topic, but I'm just going to speak directly. I don't have a lot of literature on this. I'm going to speak directly from my guts, okay?
Mm-hmm.
First off, while you're talking, it reminded me of there's that scene in Dumb and Dumber when it's like, there's no jobs out there. And I think it's Lloyd Christmas goes, yeah, unless you want to work 40 hours a week.
Right.
All right. So,
exactly.
You have kids, by the way?
Yes, we have 2 kids in daycare. So we both work full time. So the kids are still in daycare.
So is he have some sort of just Band-Aid job right now, or is he just sitting at home applying?
Just sitting at home applying.
Okay.
He's tried to sign up for like Instacart and Uber and all of that, and all the wait lists are full. He did do like one cat sitting, right?
Okay. So here, okay. I wish he was on the phone. He's not. So you're going to feel some of the smoke from me, and it's not aimed at you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's aimed at men in America. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a young kid, I was at a church that was, I'd say, somewhat of an affluent church before affluent churches were a thing in my neighborhood growing up. It was just a neighborhood church, but it was pretty big, and people did pretty well. And I remember there was a man who got fired from his executive job.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked for a meeting with the elders of the church on Sunday afternoon. And by Monday, they had fired their custodial staff. And this former executive was cleaning the toilets at the church and emptying waste baskets.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a couple of years later, I got out of college, and I was a high school teacher, and we had this, I was driving through town. And as I was pulling in to sign my HR paperwork of this, I was going to be a teacher now, a high school teacher. I actually saw him driving out, and I saw a sign in the yard, and it was like a open day. Basically, it was like a job fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, this is what masculinity looks like. This man will do anything to pay the light bill and the water bill and put food on his table.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most, I'm so glad I got to see that both up close. My dad worked at the church after he quit being a police officer, and I'd be up there just messing around in his office, and I'd see this guy walking through in jeans and a dress shirt, cleaning toilets, emptying trash. And I know he was applying like crazy, but the job market was a mess, especially for executives and his thing he did. And then he went and got a job as a teacher. Right? He went and got a job.
Right.
And I was driving in rural Tennessee the other day, taking my daughter to breakfast, and I saw a sign. The McDonald's was $20 an hour. $20 an hour. Almost every store down the way had jobs open. And now, since applications, I'll even give people a pass in old days that you had to wait, right? You had to try to catch somebody during the day. Now I can work 2 full-time fast food jobs and making $20 an hour, and maybe not where you live, so maybe $15 an hour, although I bet it's more in Tampa. You can work, and then all night after the kids are in bed, you can apply for jobs. And I'm going to say something that's unpopular because I talk about grief all the time. He doesn't have time for that in this moment. I remember one of my close friends, her husband was just a deadbeat, packed up and left her pregnant with child number 3. And I remember asking her, how are you doing this? And she said, I don't know, but I don't have that option to not. Right?
Yep.
We will figure this out. I have 2 children staring at me saying, Mommy, I'm hungry. And I have a third one about to be born. So there was a season, a time for grief. It wasn't when that deadbeat packed up and took off. Because those babies had to eat. So I think right now the conversation has to shift from you get a season of mourning and let's be sad about the loss of a job. Dude, the data is clear. A job loss, especially for somebody who has identified a career as an identity, like I'm a dentist, I am an attorney, I'm a executive, whatever, is similar to losing a loved one. It's really, it's hard on your body, it's hard on your mind, it's hard on your identity, it's hard on everything. And then you got to go get a freaking job because our family needs money. Right? And so I have zero compassion in this moment. None. Zero.
Okay.
You go find work. And I know that's easy for me to say. That's really difficult for you, isn't it? Because you're in the house with him, right?
Right.
And you have to navigate the mood swings and the, oh my gosh, and this is just not going to be a good fit for us. And what?
Right.
And by the way, you're getting up and going to work every day, right?
Right.
And this is when the resentment starts to slowly creep in.
Right.
And then intimacy becomes hard because respect is hard and competency is hard. Like all of it just works together, right?
Right. Yep.
So what have you tried so far that has not worked? Or did some big thing happen and that's why you called? Or is this just this dripping, ongoing?
No, it's just been ongoing. Yeah, it's just been...
How long?
And I told him it has been 7 months. And I told him at the time, because he got severance, right? So we had a couple months and we're debt free. We have a ton of money in savings, so we're fine. But I told him, I said, there's going to come a point where you get any job or the kids are going to stay home and you're now full-time dad, right? Because of the cost of daycare.
Absolutely.
And he says he understands and all that. And I know he's at that point where he's trying to get those like gig jobs, right? But it's just kind of, I feel like excuses, right? Or it's on a wait list. On a wait list.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Right.
Throw the gig jobs out the window. You know why he wants a gig job? Because he can hide.
Right.
Go put on a visor and serve Burger King.
Yeah.
It's a noble job. You're helping people eat. And more than that, it's a noble job because you're showing your kids what it looks like to get hit in the mouth and get back up.
Right.
And so if I'm you, I would have a conversation. It'd be a hard one, but again, not at home. But sitting down and saying, okay, this is going to be a hard conversation and you're going to want to duck out. I need you to stay with me. Will you stay with me? And he'll say yes. I love you. I want to be married to you. Here's where we are. 7 months have gone by. What you're doing is not working. I need the man I married to have a job at the local McDonald's, at Walmart, shipping boxes at night. I don't care what it is, but I need you to get up every day with a purpose. Or transition fully, if y'all can afford it, to you are now a stay-at-home dad. We stop daycare January 1. And that's it. Because you have shown over the last 7 months that you're really not interested in getting a job. He's
Right.
probably waiting for somebody to call him and say, "Hey, I got a 6-figure Met." That call's not coming. Call's not
Right.
coming.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the weird thing. I don't know how it works or why it works, but if he is a 6-figure kind of guy, he'll start working at McDonald's and he'll own 3 of them in the next 18 months. I don't know how that works. They just do. He'll start working at Home Depot and become a senior manager just because he shows up and doesn't quit on people.
Right. And that's why part of the reason I get so frustrated is because he's so smart and he could do anything. It's just getting him to do it.
Yeah. So when Dr. Henry Cloud talks about parents and their kids, he talks about what often people need in this situation is they need some problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like a kid, if this was your 25-year-old kid, they would need to move out or they would need to start paying rent.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there has to be some level of, hey, honey, you're making this choice. And so on behalf of the family, I'm going to start making these choices. I got to protect these kids from thinking this is what being a dad looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to protect me because I want to be married to you. And I just am losing respect in you because you lay on the couch all day.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair? Are you there?
I'm there.
Because
I think
I'm
it's
there for
fair.
you. I'm there for you.
Yeah,
I just have such a clear picture of a man that wouldn't clean toilets in my church building. And dude, I'll respect him till the end of time.
Right. And I'm with you. You know, I've lost a job before, right? And I went back out and got another one immediately, right? And I know the job market's different and all that. It's just, and I listened to you took a call on the Ramsey show a couple days ago, and you called the guy out, and it was like, you're just making excuses. And I was like, oh man, that's my husband. It's like, well, I can't do this, and I can't, you know, and I was just like, that's what it is. That's all it is.
Have you told him, honey, I don't respect you anymore?
I haven't, no.
Okay, I think that we may be at a place where honesty is important. So I love you, but I've watched you become a shell of who you were because you've lost purpose. And if your purpose isn't professional, then my God, let your purpose be me. Let your purpose be our kids. Let your purpose be you. But now it's become just a way of life. It's become a wallow. And let's be honest, why would he get up?
Right.
You aren't starving. You still sleep with him occasionally. You don't have to mess with his kids at all. He gets to play Fortnite, you know, with kids on the other side of the world in the middle of the night. I don't know what he's doing. What does he do all day?
He's supposedly sitting at his computer applying for jobs. He does chores. He's picked up a lot of the laundry and
he does chores. You know what's so scary about the way you said that? And I knew this was coming. You are transitioning to his mother.
Right.
Because he is a child. He's a child. And everybody out there, let me just say, if you have a 6-figure job and you've got this big identity and you get fired, they lay you off. Of course you take a couple of weeks to recalibrate. Of course. What just happened? I'm calling my contacts. I'm going to have cups of coffee with people. And then go do a thing. Go do a thing. Go get a job. Are you going to be a career server? No. But go get a job. Begin to give yourself something that you have to wake up for. You have to shower for. You have to greet other people. And that will help clear the cobwebs. That helps rattle you like through your bones. Get up and go get them, man. And for those of you stuck with somebody who is becoming a deadbeat or who is one or who is always scheming, I got a plan. I don't want to work at that place because they make me work late sometimes. I don't want to work over there because they have the hard conversation and tell the truth. It's hard for me to be attracted to somebody that won't work. I've lost respect in you. For 7 months, for 1 year, for 5 years, you've sat here and waited for a phone call for the quote-unquote perfect job. You sit at your computer all day. And I drive by sign after sign after sign saying, help wanted, help wanted, help wanted. Go get a job. And apply at your computer after the kids are in bed, after I'm in bed. Then spend your time dreaming in front of the computer. Go get a job. If you lose a job that's powerful and important to you, yes, there's going to be a season of grief. Yes, no question about it. I'm not callous. I'm not an idiot. I've grieved jobs that I've left. But you got to go to work. You got to go to work. I'm so sorry. And thanks for the call. Let me know how that conversation goes. That's a nuclear option, telling your husband you don't respect him. But I think that's where we are.